Hi, guys. Today we're talking about clairsentience, psychic feeling, physical psychic feeling, not emotional psychic feeling, not to be confused with empathy, right? Which is emotional psychic feeling. Clairsentience is physical psychic feeling. And I'm diving into how you could strengthen this ability, how you could recognize it, giving you some tips on really diving deep into this, so you can understand it with your mind, but then so you could spend time with your physical body and doing some of these exercises. Now, when you take my Awaken program, and if you haven't, you're going to, right? Um, you're going to go really deep into this, and you're actually going to be going through exercises for a whole week and doing assignments so that way you can strengthen this. But if you guys want to try it a little bit on your own, here we go. So I have been teaching psychic and mediumship development, which it sounds like hokey, right? Psychic and mediumship development. But let me tell you what, this shit changes your whole damn life. And it helps you be more of a conduit for bringing in more consciousness to our planet. But I've been teaching it and growing through it for 12 years now. Okay. And just the other day, I discovered what we call agreements, right? So I'll share a little bit about that. Agreements is something that we have an agreement between us and the spirit world. And they're different for everyone. I probably should be doing a podcast separate for that. But again, it's all in the Awaken program, right? But agreements is something that we have an agreement between us and the spirit world that gives us a huge chunk of information with one little thing. So for example, goosebumps is the most common one where that's like more like we call those validation bumps. So that's like a yes, keep going. If you're doing a reading or if you're thinking of something and it's like goosebumps, yes, validation bumps. So that's like something that maybe everybody has in common when it comes to an agreement. But other agreements could be things like colors or feelings, and that's what we're talking about today. Is a feeling in your stomach that translates to a large amount of information. This is what's so fucking amazing about psychic and mediumship development, because you will learn these and you will start to recognize them in your own way. And I love teaching psychic and mediumship development, spiritual awakening, because it is so unique. And I always say, this is why you need a mentor, because there is not one person that's the same. We have some similarities, but every single person's awakening is unique. I get so nerdy about teaching it, and why I've been teaching it for so long, because we get to investigate these different feelings or colors or smells or sounds and what they mean to us so that we could live a better life, right? If some of you guys watching the video, you see me moving my hand gestures, like bringing information down and out, right? Or so that we can bring information down from spirit and out of our mouth to help another person, right? To help them live their life more fully. That's what I would always say when I would do readings, right? Give me clean, clear information so that I can help this person live their life more fully. Boom, there's my freaking intention before every single session. So let me rewind a little bit, because we're going back to talking about physical psychic feeling. And what happened to me the other day is I was just thinking to myself about ant energy. And when I say ant, I mean AUNT, that person that has nieces or nephews, right? That type of energy. Those people, ants, right? AUNTS, carry a certain feeling for me, a certain frequency for me. And it will for you too, if you get used to it, right? I have some ants, but they've not really been in my life at all. So I had to learn this energy by working with the spirit world and feeling what an ant feels like in my stomach, clairsentience in my stomach. Once you can identify this feeling and what it means to you, you can trust it, right? I always tell my students, trust and allow. You could trust it. So whenever you feel that feeling, it means that you're going to say, you feel like an ant to me. And what does that mean? And then it gets broader. Because for me, this ant energy is very much like mother energy, but off to the left, right? Even that sounds crazy, right? Off to the left. Very much nurturing, very much overlooking, very much kindred, very much caring, very much, nurturing, like I'm saying. Overseer, right? But again, off to the left. I don't know why I keep saying that, but that's how this works. That's how this works. And once it makes sense for you, it will always make sense for you. Now, backing up a little bit. So one thing I could share with you is for you to strengthen this ability to feel the feeling in your belly, which is what I was doing the other day. And I was comparing the same feeling with different people that I know in my logical mind are aunts, that they have a niece or nephew. And it's very much relatable with all of these people. But one person came to mind that I know is an aunt, and she does not carry that frequency. So this is just me being in my head, right? Like, I'm not studying to go give her a reading. I am generally just a super nerd, and I want to know exactly what everything feels like in my stomach so that I could communicate, right? Because here's the thing too, this is why I get fired up, you guys. I truly believe this is the next wave of our communication, and that it's our responsibility as a species to tap into this. So that's why I get all nervy about it. And I want to study it, and I want to teach you it, because I want you to live your life more fully, right? And I want you to be able to help everybody else live their life more freaking fully so that we can evolve consciously. This is in my heart of hearts, why I'm freaking here on this planet. And I know it to be true, right? So this one particular girl did not hold the energy of an aunt. So it intrigued me. And I've sat in her energy. And this is what we do when we're doing psychic mediumship. We get in their energy. We sit there. I'm like, let me put your meat suit around me, right? Let me put your energetic suit around mine. And now I'm going to transform into you. And I'm going to feel how you feel. And I'm going to be able to read you. And I'm going to be able to look around your life inside of my mind's eye, right? Which is clairvoyance. But I'm going to feel your energy in a physical way. I could also feel it emotionally, which is the empathy, right? But I'm talking physical touch, goosebumps, tickles. This is all clairsentience, and feeling the energy and being able to translate it. So I sat in her energy and I was like, what is this? And a lot of times I'll do this with my fingers. Those of you guys that are listening to the audio, I like rub my my pointer finger, my ring finger with my thumb. It's a process that I do. I have no idea why. It's also interesting to watch people's body movements and stuff when they are receiving from spirit, to see how it works for them. But for me, when I'm doing this with my fingers, it helps me move through the energy. And I'm like, okay, it's not ant energy, but it's education. Okay, what kind of education? And then all of a sudden it clicked for me that it's early childhood development education. Now, this may sound nuts to a lot of you, but all y'all that are hanging on to the end, it's because you're intrigued. Everything's energy, right? Ant energy, early childhood development education. That's a big chunk of information in this feeling in my stomach, right? It's huge. So as soon as I pinpointed it, I'm like, oh, well, wait a minute. I know a couple people that I logically already know in my mind that teach early education. So then I started placing those people and sitting in their energy and feeling if I got that same feeling in my stomach. And I did. So to recap really quickly, right? I know exactly what an ant feels like. And I used that feeling to sit around in other people's energy to see if that feeling was with all these other people. It is. How did I come to this conclusion of what an ant feels like? Through multiple readings and pinpointing it. So before, this is how I got to this point. where I'm like, oh yeah, and you have an aunt, or your aunt really watches over you, or your aunt is in spirit, right? Because they feel the same whether they're alive or dead. I'm like, oh my God, it's your aunt, it's in spirit. Also, side note, when an aunt comes through in spirit, she's usually color orange for me. Okay. It's for real. I'm not joking. Color orange also means aunt to me, but that's more clairvoyance, right? Psychic seeing, pointing to my third eye here. Psychic feeling, she's coming through here in my belly, and I can feel how she feels. But spirit's going to be able to communicate with you in these different ways, because they're sending you a frequency, right? Spirit's sending you a frequency, and how you pick it up through your clairs, your psychic seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing, smelling, all of that is how you receive. This is why I also love what I do. Like, I will never stop talking about it because it's so unique. People come to me, they're like, oh, I want to be clairvoyant. Well, guess what? You might be a knower. You might never see, hear, smell, feel. You might just know shit, and it'll make you crazy. All my knowers, they're sometimes they hate it because they're just like, I just know, but I don't know how I know, but I'll fight to the death because I just know. But damn, I wish I could have some clue to how I know. How do I know this shit, right? Anyway, backing up again, because I'll go all over the place with this, is doing those multiple sessions, which is what we do inside of my Awaken program, to teach you to be confident in that feeling or that vision or that smell. So I got this far with the ants, and then I was pretty taken back when the one girl didn't feel like an ant. And then I felt early childhood development education. Now I know exactly what that feeling is. Early childhood development education. I know exactly what that feels like. So no matter what, if somebody's coming through in spirit, they're passed away. If I'm behind somebody at the grocery store, if somebody's asking me about their children, it might come through in a reading. I'm going to feel this feeling, and I'm going to go early childhood development education from now on for the rest of my life. I know what that feeling feels like. How much deeper can it go? It goes so deep. What does the fifth dimension feel like in my belly? What does an extraterrestrial feel like in my belly? Right? Who's coming through? Right? What does dragon energy? We just did a podcast about dragon energy. What does that feel like in my belly? So some of you guys would probably relate to this, and I do share some of this in the Awaken program, is you remember Christmas morning? You remember how you felt? Do you remember the first day of school? Or how about those of you guys that are in the Midwest, the first day that you can smell fall, or you just feel this feeling? You open the door and there's this different hue out, a different color scheme. It's like all of a sudden the sun switched, and you feel it to the core of your body. So you guys know what I'm talking about when I'm saying there's different feelings, that if you start thinking about them and you sit with them, like Christmas morning, or first day of school, or last day of school, first day of summer, the day your child was born, what does your mom feel like to you? What does a dentist feel like? Because I know what a dentist feel like. I know what a dentist feels like if he works in Texas, right? So we share this in my Wake Up program too. What does Texas feel like? Dude, I remember doing a reading for somebody and telling her she was going to travel to Turkey, because I know what Turkey feels like. I've never been to freaking Turkey in my whole life, the country. I've never been to Turkey, but I know what it feels like in my stomach. And I knew when I felt the feeling to tell this lady she's going to freaking travel to Turkey. And I even could see the satchel on her shoulder, the color purse she was going to be taking with her. And she already owned the purse, by the way. I don't know if she ever went to Turkey. I got to go back and get my validation. That is the big thing too. When you're doing these readings, is you want validation. And psychic and mediumship development is not so that you're going to be sitting in a dark freaking room giving readings. It is so that you are going to change your life and change other people's lives, right? But you can sit in a dark room and do readings. You have the freaking ability. What this is the biggest key component I've ever freaking found. It is the most thing that was like the most pinnacle thing that happened in my life, right? Which turned into my business, which turned into changing your guys' lives, which turned into you guys growing your own businesses and changing other people's lives. I always tell my students too, take my program, like learn from it, take what resonated the most with you. Do not copy my content, obviously, but you're going to bring this through you, and you're going to do this ripple effect, however it is. Maybe you go for, become a healer, which is a huge thing that happens. Maybe you become a spiritual coach. Maybe you start teaching intuition development, which is a huge thing that happens. Frick yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm here for this ripple, and I'm here for you to be the ripple. So I hope you loved this episode about clairsentience, making it stronger, what it is, how to recognize it, how to dive into somebody's energy, sit in their energy, feel the feelings, look around. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you know? What do you feel? Clairsentience, my favorite, one of my favorites, right? So I'm sending y'all love. You want to take my program, brandaleen.com/awaken. Go visit my website. It's the thing that I love. It's evergreen. You could dive in anytime when we do bi-weekly calls. So I hope you'll love this, and we will talk to you soon. Share this with your friends.